Good evening, friends. It's Chris Angel coming at you for another episode of Marketing for the Rest of Us. Tonight we're talking about warm audiences. Today we did week 6. We taught week 6 today in the Groundswell Method Intensive program. And one of the things we talked about was how to grow our important work in the world. How do we take this message that we have cultivated and share it out in a bigger way? And one of the best ways to do that, one of the strategic ways to do that is to find warm audiences. Find warm audiences. So I want to go down this road a little bit with you so that you too can go out and not only find them, but know what it is. You have to know what it is in order to find it. So most people get this wrong when they think a warm audience is their friends and family. This is very common in like referral strategies. We think of our friends and family as our base. Like these are the people that we want to send notes to, make calls to. And that may be fine. And I'm not saying some of your friends and your family may not. I'm not saying that some of them aren't in your warm audience. But just because they're a friend and a family member, or just because they're nice to you, also doesn't mean that they're a part of your warm audience. This was a hard one for me because I love people. So when people would show me kindness, I was like, oh, somebody sees me. Like, thank you. Oh, you see me. Thank you for seeing me. And all of a sudden, I sort of lumped you into a warm audience, right? And that's actually not what I mean by a warm audience. So we have to get specific on this because if you don't, what'll happen is you'll start to spend a lot of time, a lot of money, maybe energy and effort trying to win over these friends and family members or chamber members, if you're in a networking group, wherever you feel seen and heard and you have friends or people who are nice to you, you're going to spend time trying to convince them to work with you and it won't work. And you'll be disappointed and you'll be frustrated. Like, why aren't they buying? Why aren't they, like, they know that I do this work. Why are they not working with me? That was my story for a long time. So let's go investigate what a warm audience really is. Okay. A warm audience, again, is not people who are nice to you. A warm audience are people who want to and are interested in, they want to be a part of and are interested in the conversation that you're leading. Just let that sink in for a second, right? Like you can see the difference between if what we've thought a warm audience were people like our friends and family members. You can see that some of our friends and many of our friends and family members may not be interested in the conversation we're here to lead in the world. And so immediately in your friends and family, you have many people who already aren't your ideal warm audience. And those people, frankly, are not the people we're trying to foster. They're not the people we're trying to nurture in relationship. So the people we want, right? The people that we want to be nurturing with our time, our energy. If you spend money in marketing, these are the people you want to spend money to. They are the ones who want to be a part of the conversation that we're leading. Okay? And some of them may actually be friends and family members, but most of your friends and family members aren't them. So which means, this is where we expand the game, right? The game of marketing then becomes how do we take our message that we're leading and share it with the world in such a way that those who have an interest in this conversation can find us and connect with us, right? Yeah, totally. Julie says, yes, I expected my family to support and it doesn't work. Yeah, totally. Me too. Love it. Yeah, that's it, Julie. So here's the thing, gang. What I want you to focus on, underneath all of your marketing is your message. And if you followed any of these shows, I don't know if you guys listen to the podcast. By the way, do you know that this is a podcast? This show that I do live, I also send to iTunes and Google Play and Stitcher. So if you are driving or out walking and you'd rather listen to these, you can always get them there. But what's interesting, right, is we want to start to take our content that we're leading, the message that you're leading in the world, and share it out, because it's your message that attracts our warm audience. I don't care if people are nice to me as much as do you have an interest in what I'm here to share? Lots of people can be nice to you, but in the context of business, with my business hat on, who I'm looking for are people that are interested in marketing that feels authentic. That's my tribe, right? I'm interested in finding people who want to take their marketing to another level to create proactive cash flow, but from a place that feels authentic, where they're serving people and inspiring people, not spamming people and bothering people, right? So that's where I come from. That's the conversation I'm leading. And I don't care if I met you at the grocery store and you're really nice to me. You might be warm as a human being, but you're not my warm audience. And so I'm not interested in spending time with you, although you may be a lovely human. Who I'm interested in spending time with, because I only have so many years on this planet, who I want to spend time with are the ones who are interested in this conversation. That is a life lived on purpose. That is a life lived with focus. And most of us don't live with that much focus. I know I didn't for so many years. And I I abandoned focus for people who were nice to me. I spent a lot of time investing in people who were nice to me. But they weren't my warm audience. They weren't interested in what I was really here for. And that was wasted. So, that's what there is to do. What there is to do is to hone that message and then share it in very strategic places in the world so that your people can find you. If you know that your message is about marketing, authentic marketing, then you could go, that already informs how to find those kinds of people. I told you in a previous episode, I sponsored a podcast called the Flawed Females Podcast, right? And I love the two hosts of the Flawed Females Podcast, Lizzie Keith and Rachel O'Rourke. Like, they're fabulous human beings. And their show is all about how to help women do their important work in the world, right? And to own the flawedness of us as humans, rather than having to be perfect all the time, to actually step into and own our flaws so that we can feel the power of owning that. Like, so when I saw that, I'm like, oh, that's great. Like, I want to sponsor that message, knowing that the people who listen to that show are people who are highly likely to be people interested in my conversation if they're business people. As a human being, they're the right people because they're about authenticity. Now I just am inside of that audience. I'm looking for people who have a business because I think I could really help them. But see, it's me getting clear about who a warm audience is for me that made that opportunity show up. I'm like, oh, I could see those people being a fit for me. And I wouldn't have known that if what I thought a warm audience were just people who liked me or people who were nice to me. So you will go down this path as you start to figure out the message you want to share in the world. You'll start to figure out then, where do those people gather who are interested in that conversation? Okay. And good news for you, you don't have to do this alone. I have a course, right? You can, if you haven't already done the free course, Marketing for the Rest of Us, the course, it's 5 videos, just over 90 minutes, where we actually start to unpack, like, what conversation do you want to lead in the world? Because it all starts there. And then from there, at the end of that, there's actually an application where you can apply for our next 6-week intensive program, where we actually go in depth on how to start doing this, right? The next program, by the way, at the time of this recording, is November 4th. So if you're interested in that, you still have time to get your applications in. But we always have new ones coming up. So if now's not the right time for you, that's cool. And if you're ready, if you're itching to get going, then it would be a good time to do that. So thanks for hanging out with me tonight. Julie, thanks for all your participation, as always. Thank you for all the hearts and the comments. Arnell, I saw you pop in there too. Thank you for that. All right, gang, have a great night. We'll catch you tomorrow for another episode of Marketing for the Rest of Us. And until then, see ya.